everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Simplicity TV. I am Jen Pike, your host. And so today's episode is actually inspired by this amazing response that I got from an interview I did on my podcast with Erin Miller. And it was all about the challenges of motherhood. It was amazing to us as a team to see how many of you not only listened to this podcast, but then reached out in response with how much you've been struggling with motherhood as well too. And I think that we are living at a time right now where it's always been hard to be a mom. I mean, who is kidding who? It is literally the most challenging and yes, rewarding and amazing job ever, but it's hard. And in 2020, the challenges have been stacked on top of us for many different reasons. And I wanted to have a little bit of a convo with you today about this, about 3 of the top things that came in that I feel like I could give you some additional support on. And I am by no means an expert mother, an expert parenting, person who does that and does this for a living. I'm just going to talk like real talk about how we've been managing through this. So the first thing is the challenge of at-home learning and you working at home. So we homeschool one child goes to school. And I know many families where this is the dynamic, or you are learning virtually. So yes, you have the school that's providing the curriculum, but your child is still learning from home. In my mind, that is still homeschool. The child is at home doing their school, and you are at home doing your job. You're an entrepreneur, so you work from home. You work for a company where you have been sent home to work. It's a very challenging balance. It is a very challenging struggle to make sure that our kids are staying on task. We have now stepped into this role of essentially becoming teachers and tutors for our kids in a way that we've never really had to before. We also have had to learn new technology for the job that we had for who knows how long. And you have to have, identified spaces in your house. So that can be a challenge for a lot of people. If you don't have, 2 extra rooms, one that's your office and one for your child's school setting, that can create a lot of frustration inside the house and a lot of tension. And so for us, I moved my entire office into our bedroom. I made it in a bright space looking outside. My daughter, she does all of her schoolwork in her room. My son does it all at the kitchen table. And so we had to identify for us as a family where the working space was. And then it was about creating the management of time boundaries. So I'm in practice on X amount of days a week. You can't come upstairs. So I actually got a little 3M clip on the outside of the bedroom door. I put a clipboard there when I am recording, when I'm in practice, when I am in sessions. If the clipboard is on there, you can't interrupt me. We created a texting system where if it's something where you really need me, or it's an emergency, or like literally something is on fire, you text me. My phone is on the desk. My notifications are off, but I will see the banner come across and know that my child needs me. But it's hard. I will be completely honest, it is a challenge. It is hard trying to stay focused. What used to take me, a couple of hours to do literally takes me an entire day, sometimes multiple days to get done, because it used to be a routine, right? The kids, you get up, they're gone for 6.5, 7 hours. You had all that time and space. And that just doesn't happen anymore for many of us. And I know for some of you it does, but for a lot of people, that is not the reality anymore. I've had to get much more efficient and productive with my time. So chunking out those blocks, and it's like 0 distractions. Get off the devices, don't have anything playing in the background. This is hunker down time. I also, for me as a woman, I had to really tap into my cycle in a whole new way. So I've been doing cycle syncing for majority of my life, tracking and awareness, but I had to know, okay, in the first half of my month, that follicular ovulatory phase, my brain is hardwired to do the hard things. This is when I have to be bulking my time and getting that stuff done. In the luteal phase time coming into my menstrual cycle, this is when I know I need to be in completion mode. I need to be checking things off the list. I also know that those couple days coming into my cycle, I'm going to be a little edgier. I might not be the most patient. And so I need to be aware of what I'm putting on my calendar leading into that cycle. So that is, a tip around that. The other thing that came into us question-wise is the biggest struggle We have zero transitions now. And you're working from home, and your home is your office, and your whole family is at home with you. And if your kids are learning at home, your spouse, your partner is working from home. There's no transition, meaning previously you would leave work, your transition would be to drive home and then coming into your house and greeting your family. Now it's you close the laptop, you go from being employee to mom, employee to teacher, whatever it may be. We have no more transitions, and it is pulling us every which way. So we're snapping at our kids more. We don't have the patience. Our energy is plummeting. Then we don't have the time, or we don't feel like we have the time because we're so frustrated and we're so overwhelmed and stressed to do anything positive for ourselves. So I'm going to give you 3 things that I have learned how to do to create these transitions for myself. The first thing is I lie. I lie about when my day ends. If my practice ends at 4:30, I say my practice ends at 5, sometimes 5:30. Why? Because I need the 30 to 60 minutes to lie on the floor and breathe next to my desk. I need the 30 minutes to change into comfier clothes. I need the 30 minutes to just make some notes about that day and just kind of dump, and so I can process and I can download. I need the 30 minutes so that I can tap into my breathing, so I can stretch on the floor. I need the 30 minutes so I can go outside for a walk. You all need to have this time. The other thing that I would do is, even when I was leaving the house and coming home, I would sit in the car a little bit longer. When we got a dog, I had to change this. I couldn't sit in the driveway because she would see me and then bark and freak out and they would know I was home. So I had to just park down the street a little bit. Just sit there for a few minutes, gather myself, do what I needed to do, then come in the door. So think about what your transitions are. Where do you have that time to separate, okay, I am done work for the day. I am now going to move into the role of wife, mom, partner, whatever it may be. The third thing is the lack of being able to take care of yourself. We're overwhelmed right now. This majority has fallen on the shoulders of us as women and as mothers, the responsibility of everything and everyone else. And so we feel like not only do we not have the time, but we don't have the energy. The first tip I'm going to give you, get outside of your house. I joke about it and say my walks it's me kind of running away. It kind of is. My walks are not for burning calories and for, doing my exercise. My walks are for my mental health. My walks are for my spirit and my soul, and my walks are where I get to say, hey, Jen, literally, how is it going? Let's be honest. It's where I have my come to self-talk. And it is where I remind myself of creating strong, energetic boundaries. And when I'm talking about that, it is, I don't want anybody to come on my walk with me. And I say that lovingly to my family. Sometimes I don't even want the dog with me. I don't want to have to be responsible for anyone or anything else other than me being in fresh air, breathing, witnessing nature, hearing the crunch under my shoes or my boots. That is what I'm out there for. It is not to achieve anything, it is to undo. And so what is something that you can do to help to create that energetic boundary? Do you need to move by yourself? Do you want to have a meal by yourself? Do you need to get into bed alone by yourself at night for a bit? Do you need to be the last person to bed, not watching TV or, eating your snacks, but just taking in the peace of the house? Do you need to be the first person up in the morning so you can sit quietly with an elixir or a warm drink or your coffee or whatever brings you joy? Because that allows you to move into the day feeling like you have done something where it has been serving yourself first. And that's a hard one for women, is we think it's selfish. I'm going to tell you it's not selfish. When I'm upstairs for that extra time, when I prioritize my workouts, when I do those things and I don't devote every moment of my day to my kids and my husband and whoever else it is, you're teaching them. I am teaching them a valuable lesson, and they're fine. They don't need me. They survive. And you know what else happens? They figure out how to do things by themselves. And that's the problem, is that for us as women, we've had so much coding that has conditioned us to believe that we are the be-all, end-all. We are the matriarchy and the patriarchy of the family and of the home. And that is a huge load to take on. So maybe you were modeled that by watching your mom. Maybe you were modeled that by your grandmother. Maybe you weren't just modeled it, but it was like incanted by words and you were told this is your role. These are things that we have an opportunity right now to step back and really ask ourselves, wait a second, this is not the life I envisioned for myself. This is not how I wanted to feel as a mother. This is not how I wanted it to unfold and to go. And then the other side of that, two sides of the same coin is we can't control our kids, our spouse, our work, whatever it is. So we have to be able to be taking care of ourselves well enough that we have the resiliency. We have our tank full enough that when things change on a dime, because it's going to happen in motherhood, that is a flickin' guarantee. Like things are never going to be the same always. There's always going to be stuff that comes out of left field. We're not shocked by it. We're not freaking out because everything is so micromanaged that we can't change and go with the new flow. And so the more you take care of yourself, the better you feel, the more rest you're getting, the more well-fed you are, the more that you're moving your body, you will be able to do that with more grace, with more ease, a little bit more simplicity. They will still irritate you though. That is going to be a guarantee. Okay? And I think we just have to embrace that. No one is expecting you to be perfect. No one is watching you and grading you. And, no one, definitely me sitting here, is judging or shaming you. I think you are all doing an amazing job. I think this is something that no book, no podcast, no video ever could have prepared us for. So give yourself some compassion. And like I said, grace. Make that be a mantra for yourself as you move into the rest of today and your life. With compassion, grace, simplicity, and ease. I am sending it massively from me to you. I really hope you can feel that. You're doing amazing, and we are all going to get through this together. Have an awesome rest of your day.